Well, a very good afternoon and welcome along to a brand new year and a new Lite Bite of Lunch. A happy new year to you all. We're absolutely delighted you could join us today. As you'll see, I'm joined in studio by my new co-host, the person who last year sat behind the camera and was the one giving me all the instructions, and she's joining me in front of the camera this year, so I'm delighted to welcome Cheryl as a co-host. We've a fabulous show lined up for you. I do want to mention though that a couple of the subjects we're going to touch on today could be triggers for people. They are going to be sensitive subjects. We will warn you before we start. We are going to be discussing online bullying, harassment, suicide, that type of thing, but we will warn you before those things come up. Also joining us today, we have a couple of other wonderful guests. We've Pádraig Gallagher from Gallagher's Boxty House to share some wonderful recipe ideas with us. And we also have Georgie joining us from Dream Digital. And again, as I said, when we touch on those other subjects, then we also have Jackie Fox joining us. So we'll get into all those in more detail. One comment that people have made to me was all through last year when the guests came on, I would ask them all to tell us a little bit about themselves first, and I've never actually done it about myself. So I said, to start the new year, I will tell you a little bit about me. So, as you know, my name is Rory Devlin. My day job, I'm the senior tax partner at Devlin and Associates. I'm also a business development consultant with a number of other agencies. And aside from that, I also run the Micro Business Awards, and we have the show here, the Lite Bite Lunch, as well. My mission is to support micro businesses and to give them the best support absolutely possible, to make sure that any opportunities that are there for them to better their business, and that's what I'm about, and that's what this show is about, and that's why we do it. So I'll ask each of our guests very quickly to tell us a little bit about themselves. Some of you may remember Pádraig has joined us on the show before, and there was a huge demand for him to come back because he has some lovely food ideas for us. So Pádraig, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, Happy New Year to you, Rory and Cheryl, and everybody out there listening. My name is Pádraig Gallagher. I'm chef proprietor of the Boxty House restaurant and Temple Bar, operating since 1988. We also have a production side to our business when we produce ready meals and stocks and different products for different other people. Looking forward to getting back and being opened again properly. This zigzag of a year in 2020 and 2021 has been absolutely devastating and really demoralizing. But listen, we're in 2022. I'm looking to a bright future. Roll on St. Bridget's Day, roll on St. Patrick's Day, and roll on to a good season.
That's great. Thanks very much, Pádraig. Also joining us is Georgie Thomas from Dream Digital. So Georgie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Happy New Year, everybody. Yes, so my name's Georgie. I actually co-founded a company called Dream Digital. We are a digital marketing agency, but we actually specialise in working with brand new businesses, startups, small businesses, and particularly working with businesses that were started at the start of the pandemic and that have experienced maybe a decline in the amount of business they're getting as things started to open up again. And it's helping people from all kind of industries to make sure that they have a strong online presence, and that's through web development, social media marketing in particular, SEO. And I've been a freelancer for several years, and Dream Digital is a new project for myself and my business partner, and we are based in London and the East Midlands.
That's great. Thank you very much. And I'm also delighted that joining us is Jackie Fox. Jackie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, because I know you're exceptionally busy with talks all around the country.
Yeah, thank you. My name's Jackie Fox. I'm a stay-at-home mum with 3 beautiful kids. I have 2 boys now because I lost my daughter Nicole, which I'm going to be talking about. The typical school runs, karate runs, football matches, standing at the side of football matches all the time. Everything was normal and great until my world was just turned upside down, and now I focus on talks in schools, colleges, um, football clubs, youth reach, community centres, anywhere where I can talk about the devastating effects of suicide and online bullying and the consequences now.
That's great. Listen, we'll be talking in a lot more detail about that now in a little while, and we're delighted, really are delighted to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Right. So, before we get into the show proper, I just want to make mention in relation to the Micro Business Awards. I mentioned there that that is one of my pet projects that I've been running since 2016, and from last year we started running them in the UK as well. And I just wanted to remind everyone that the closing date is fast approaching. It was to close next week, but it has now been extended, and it's been extended until the 10th of February, 5 p.m. on the 10th of February. To get your entries in, you can visit either irishmicrobusinessawards.ie or microbusinessawards.co.uk, depending whether you're entering the Irish or the UK awards. And the entry form is there. You literally fill in the entry form, tell us why you should win the award, and then it'll go to the judges, and at the end of March we'll be announcing the finalists for both Ireland and the UK all at the same time. So, enough of the promotion one. And again, just to mention, with the Micro Business Awards, they are entirely free to enter, and anyone that wins isn't charged anything to receive their certificate. We do hope, everything going to plan, to have a live event this year. The finals are going to be on for Ireland the 15th of October in the Osprey Hotel in Naas. I don't have the date for the UK yet. I'm hoping to have that in the next couple of weeks, and we will bring you that when we know it. So I think we'll move on and we'll get talking to our guests. So we're going to start with, once again, just as we had said, what we wanted to talk about, items that may be distressing for people, and we are going to now have a chat with Jackie in relation to online bullying and suicide and that type of thing. So I think, as far as I know, Cheryl, you're going to have a chat with Jackie on this, yes?
I am, yes.
That's perfect. So Jack, go ahead.
So, before we delve into Coco's law, would you mind telling us a little bit about Nicole?
Yeah, as Nicole was growing up, she was so funny, she was bubbly, she was lively, she was just an ordinary outgoing girl. She had a lot of friends growing up, and she was very trusting, which kind of led to a problem as she got older. She just loved life, and she was cheeky as well. Many times I ran up the stairs after her, and she'd still have to get that last word in. But you know what? She was just so loving and caring. She always called me Mama Bear, and always said she was my best friend, which she was. We did everything together. She was just a typical child growing up until the age of when she was just about to turn 18, and then that's where everything turned around.
So, if it's not too upsetting for you, sorry, I'm hearing a double echo. Would you mind telling us, in your own words, about the 20th of January?
Yeah, well, what happened, it was actually on the 18th of January, we found myself and I dropped one of my boys off to work, and I went on around to collect my 14-year-old from school. When we got back to the house, we opened the hall door, and right in front of us, Nicole had got the stepladder and the dog's lead, and she had hung herself from the banisters in the landing. That was on the 18th. Her heart was she was still alive when we got home. I did CPR on her. The paramedics came. On the way to hospital, Nicole took a massive heart attack and died in the ambulance, but they got her back. So when we got to the hospital, she was still alive then, and she was she was in intensive care then. She was put on a life support machine. I'm going to say, because other people don't have the opportunity, but I'm going to say I was lucky, if that's the word, to have 2 days with her in hospital before she
Yeah.
died, where you hold her hand and kiss her and talk to her, and but then on the 20th of January at 5:26 that Saturday morning, the nurse told me that it was time, and um, Nicole's organs just shut down, and yeah, she passed away then on the 20th of January.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for your loss. As I know, not everybody knows about Cocoa Law, but it was passed in on the 28th of December 2020 by President Higgins. Can you tell us what Coco's Law hopes to achieve from this?
It's to help save other people for what Nicole went through. Nicole, she was physically abused by these people, where they burned her, they put cigarette butts out on her, they dragged her down a flights of stairs by the hair, they pushed her so hard into the corner of the table, they dislocated her hip, and they hurt her physically so much, but they also went online, and they're online every day, whether it's through Snapchat, they made WhatsApp groups, and she was told every day to go and hang yourself, and everyone hates you, are you still alive? They sent on Snapchat, they sent a video of a noose on how to hang yourself, and this was just constant. From my bubbly, funny, lively little girl, the abuse online and physically just dragged her down completely. When I lost Nicole, I was shocked to find out that there was no legislation for online abuse, that you could say anything to anyone online, and it wasn't a criminal offence. There was nothing there to protect anyone. There was for physical abuse, there was, but Nicole was too scared to make a statement against the physical abuse. But online
Yeah.
abuse, there was no legislation there until one day, well, not one day, every night when I went to bed, I cried myself to sleep after losing her, and to be honest, wanted to go with her. But in the end, I decided to try and do something about it, and not let anyone else go through it. So what I did then, I arranged meetings in the Dáil. I had a protest. I had a huge march through Dublin City. I got the Irish people, and that's where social media came in great. It has got its dark sides, but it also has its benefits, where I use social media to share Nicole's story around, to get our story heard, to get it known, so I
Yeah.
can pass some kind of law.
Yeah.
Right, we just have a quick question there has been sent in, Jackie, for you. Monique is looking to know, I'm full of admiration for Jackie. Were Coco's tormentors ever held accountable?
No, absolutely not. Because when they did all this, it wasn't, as I said, it wasn't a criminal offence. There was no legislation in Ireland, so nobody committed a crime. And it's only from when Coco's Law was passed are people being able to be made accountable for. But when this was happening, no, there's nothing going to happen to them, because Nicole's not here to make statements or anything like that. But as I said, it wasn't a criminal offence then. You could do that online. Also with Coco's Law, it's not only the online bullying, it's they've now put in the intimate images, as you were saying, Rory, about
Yeah.
not being able to share images as well. So but before Coco's Law, that also wasn't a crime. You could share anything without people's consent. But no, they're not going to be um, made accountable for their actions.
Right, and I have another comment actually come in there for you, Jackie. Jackie, you're truly inspirational. Nicole must be so proud of you. And
Yeah.
And we've one more that has come in by email. We actually reached out to Brendan Howland and mentioned that you were coming on the show. And he has sent us in an email to say it was a privilege to work with Jackie, a committed and ferocious campaigner for legal change, both to honour the memory of her beloved daughter Coco and also to ensure that those engaged in online bullying and harassment would be held to account. To have succeeded in that aim and uniquely to have the law named after Coco in its title is a marvellous tribute to a strong and determined woman.
Yeah,
So that's from,
and
that's
you know
from
what,
Brendan
only
Howland,
for
Judy.
and you know only for Brendan, he is the one that was the game changer in everything. He took me serious. I sat in his office and had a meeting with him and poured my heart out. And he did say that he would help. And ever since then, he's been he you know we were working together, and he was absolutely fantastic with all the work that he did with me. So I have a lot to
Yeah.
thank Brendan for. He's been amazing.
You've gone on to train as a grief counsellor. How do you feel this has helped you?
It's when I first lost Nicole, I couldn't find anywhere to turn to. I know there was PA to house and stuff, but I actually found this group called HUGG, HUGG, and it's a bereavement through suicide only
Yeah.
group. And when I first joined there, I couldn't even say Nicole's name without breaking down. They've been absolutely fantastic. So while I was campaigning for Coco's Law, to be honest, I couldn't sit with my own thoughts at home. I had to keep being busy all the time. So I trained to be it's a facilitator for HUGG, and I did all my training, and myself and another girl now actually facilitate a group in Tala, in the Maldron Hotel in Tala, and we have a big group now for people who have lost loved ones through suicide only, and that's helped me. I know where they are, I know where they're at, and to try and help someone and give some, even though I'm still grieving myself or Nicole, but to try and help other people in the group as well. It's great.
Yeah.
Right, and we have another message in for you there from Maggie. Jackie is such an inspiration. It's unknown how many lives she has directly saved. Thanks to you for your fine work.
That's lovely. Thank you.
Right. And of course, you have a special award coming up for you as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Normally on Nicole's anniversary, we'd, I have a bench in Cortown where I live now, with our plaque on it. And normally on our anniversary, we would go down and, let off balloons and have a family gathering. But this year is a little different. This year I was awarded the top award in Ireland, which is Freedom of the County. I chose to have it on the 20th of January on Nicole's anniversary because, with two reasons. One, I'm doing something for our anniversary anyway, so I wanted to include her in the day. And the second reason is that I just want her to be proud of me that day as well. So I'm going to put the 2 days for the both of us to celebrate that day
I
together.
have no doubt she'll be extremely proud of everything you've achieved.
Yeah. And I think, I was in school, I was terrible. I wouldn't even get into a school photo in school, but to now to get a law pass and do interviews and stuff and all, I know Nicole pushed me all the way to do that, because I know I had to have the strength somewhere to do it, and I do think Nicole gave me the strength to do that. So yeah, just going to honour her anniversary in with my award on the same day then.
Yeah, no, well listen, we really appreciate. I see we've another comment in there from Abdullah Mansari. Such a wonderful inspiration. Well done, Jackie.
Thank you.
For anyone who may feel affected by this story, help is available. You can either call the Samaritans on 116 123, Pieta House on 1800 247 247, or there are plenty of other organisations out there available to you. We will put up those contact details, and to anyone who is feeling at that point, please do reach out. Help is available out there. As soon as you go looking for it, it is there, and I'd say to people, please do reach out. And Jackie, as I said, we really do appreciate you taking the time today, because I do appreciate how busy you are. As we're on the subject, no problem. As we're on the subject of online bits and pieces, that type of thing, Georgie, I want to come over to you next. As Jackie said, with social media, there is the dark side to it, but there's also so much good. What do you see as being the trends coming for the coming year in social media?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a dark side, and I used to work in schools, and it's a big thing now, especially with young people, making sure they don't go onto websites and speak to people and see things they shouldn't be. But I honestly, Jackie, that was so touching to hear. That you're very inspirational. So, moving forwards in terms of trends for 2022, it's a brand new year. It's going to be an exciting year, hopefully, for businesses. The main sort of change where social media is heading is towards video and video content. And this isn't, the big long YouTube videos, because YouTube is the home for longer videos. In terms of TikTok, Instagram, it's definitely the short, sharp bursts of video that people are really going to be looking for. Especially if you're a business owner, how you can promote and sell your services using those short videos, and how you get across your brand message in a short amount of time. So definitely, if you're thinking about a social media strategy for 2022, definitely think about or get in touch with someone who can help you in terms of creating that video content. Now, Instagram started off as a bit like a photo book for people, but that has really now moved into video, and TikTok is going to be the must-have app for businesses to be able to share their content. And for anyone who doesn't know about TikTok, it's a really popular platform for younger people. We sort of say 25 and under. And you might see them shared online on Facebook as well. People lip syncing, singing, dancing. There's a lot of very, very funny content on there as well. So if you haven't had a look at TikTok, download it, have a look. You might surprise yourself, because you might understand why people are constantly scrolling on their phones. But also, people are so focused on both Facebook and Instagram. The smaller sort of social networks like Pinterest and Snapchat, they're becoming really attractive places because they're not as saturated as Facebook and Instagram. So if you're looking for maybe trying something different for your business, take a look at Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok, and just see if there's an audience there for you that you can tap into. And just on the topic of audiences, if you're struggling to grow your audience, definitely think about having a social listening strategy where you're not constantly posting content and thinking, why is this not doing anything? Why am I not growing my audience? Actually go on to a social network and find out what your audience are talking about, what's trending, especially on Twitter. You've got a whole list of those most talked about hashtags. Click on one, have a look what people are talking about, what's relevant, and just see if that's a way you can think of some new ideas for your content. And the most important one now that I've really sort of noticed in terms of since sort of lockdown is people aren't calling businesses anymore. They really are they're interacting with your social media profiles and getting in touch with you that way. So if you haven't got someone who, maybe is looking and checking in on your social media, if it's something that's there but you don't actually use it or look at it, just be aware of that, because people may be getting in touch with you and you may not realise. And of course that's maybe you're missing sales and you're not getting all your customers' messages. So that's
I think that point is particularly important, because I know myself, even from business pages I've made contact with, and I had one actually emailed me back or messaged me back this morning, and I had sent them a message last August asking a question.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty much important one, to make sure your page is monitored.
Absolutely, yeah, and you know, people who come and speak to me about their social media, the number one thing is, I don't have time to do it. But if you're going to start a social media profile, you've got to find that time, even if it's just half an hour in the evening, just to, you know, one, respond to any, you know, messages, but also engage, because that's where you'll find that your posts will reach more people, is if you're engaging with your community. People don't want to contact you if you just got your picture here and there posted on your Instagram. Put a face to your business, put a personality behind it, because that's where, you know, the engagement from your audience will come from. And that's a really important sort of point. If you're watching this and thinking, how am I going to improve my social media presence? Is go and talk to your audience, because that's a really effective strategy.
So that's what you're recommending all the business owners do as their New Year resolution, is forget about what you're doing at the moment. Go and talk to your audience and say to them, what do you want from my business? What do you want to be seeing? And then let's find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, and don't just go in with a hard sale. Just actually go and talk to your audience and talk to people online. And also, you know, you will all have interests. You know, if I'm a Manchester United supporter, you know, I don't want to just go and sell websites and social media to people. I'll go and have a look at what my Manchester United fans are talking about, what's trending for them and what's important to them, and then you can sort of tap into that sort of community. Because sales come from all sorts of places. If you're just the hard businessman or businesswoman who just goes and talks to people and says, do you want a website? Do you want this? Do you want that? You know, people aren't going to engage with that. They want to have things in common with you. And that's what I find with a lot of my clients now. You actually have a lot in common with them. I found that especially with people, sort of mums at home, e-commerce stores, you know, talking about their children, what their children are interested in. And that's where you sort of build those relationships, and they'll refer you, and you create more work through that. So put a face to your business and put a personality behind it.
Well, it's amazing, George, that you say that, because a message has come in there just as before you said that from Geraldine. Absolutely, you are your business, get your face out there.
100%.
So, I know, absolutely. And again, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and it's one of those things that we all want everyone to know who we are. We don't have the time to do it. And as an accountant, as I tell people on a regular basis, the reality is, if you're not an expert, you look at how much more time you're going to spend on as to what it's going to cost you to pay somebody. You focus on your area and bring somebody in who's capable of doing it, whether you bring in a contractor, whether you employ someone, or take somebody on through one of the various social welfare schemes, whatever way you're going to do it. Leave that to the side, to the people who know exactly what they're doing and are bringing more value, as opposed to wasting time yourself. I think that's very, very important.
Absolutely, and you know, hopefully people run businesses that they're passionate about and that they love running. It's so important now to get the tone of your marketing right. So, you know, if you have a corporate voice in a business that's supposed to be fun, friendly, engaging, then you're not going to talk to your target audience, and your audience just won't grow. So, yes, have a go at it yourself. Hopefully you'll feel passionate and you'll know your audience so that you can build that social media. If you find it really hard, or you're not really hard, talk to somebody who might be able to help you.
Okay, now, and this of course is the $1 million question. How do you find the right company to work with?
The massive thing for me is a problem that people come to me with is the communication. When you choose a company to work with, you're investing in them. And one of the things that I like about my company is that when we start working with a business, we want to become part of your team. We want you to achieve your goals, because your goals are our goals. We want you to achieve them. So I say communication, taking an interest in the business. You don't want someone who's, you know, again, not going to get back to your emails. You want someone that's going to make suggestions to improve. And you don't want someone who's going to be constantly talking to you in terms of sales and adding up the costs, you know, as you go. You want someone to say, this is an option. I don't think that will work, so let's not do it. Rather than just saying, let's do this, it's going to cost you this much. Find someone that actually will find you a budget that you can work with, whether it's a big budget or a small budget. There's always a solution. So you don't want a company that just is counting the costs and seeing a business as a money maker. You want someone on your team.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, in every show, as a lot of you may know, we have one question that every guest is always asked. And Pádraig, you've been very much left out of things, so I'm going to start with yourself. What makes the perfect Lite Bite lunch for you?
It's got to be box tea. And I think you had some of our box tea fries in the restaurant, Rory.
Yes.
When you visited, box tea fries are pan box tea, which is made with grated raw potatoes, some mashed potato and flour. You can add milk or water to it, whatever you like. There's many recipes as there are parishes in the county I come from, Leitrim. What we do is we make the pancake, let it sit overnight, and then we put it into thin slices and deep fat fry it. And it's like they're quite addictive. They're very Moorish, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. With a little bit of aioli, a little bit of mayonnaise, some rocket and garlic through it, and dip in it. It's just another way. I think you were talking to me earlier about what you can do with box tea. It's a great conductor of sauces. It's a great conductor of taste. It's an Irish pasta, except it's made with potatoes, and you really can do anything you want with it.
But again,
so I guess
your box tea dumplings are very similar to gnocchi, so.
Yes, they are, except a different texture, and unlike gnocchi, you got to boil the box tea dumplings for about 9 to 12 minutes. Traditionally, they would have been the size of a tennis ball, and again, they're made with grated raw potato, mashed potato, and some flour, kneaded into a ball the size of a tennis ball, and they would have been popped into a large pot and boiled for about 60 minutes or simmered for about 60 minutes. We've taken them a step further. We make them into bite-sized pieces, like a gnocchi. So, because it's kind of hard to get your mouth around a tennis ball in a restaurant, So we do that, and you can do anything you want with them. Any sauce you want with them, anything you like, and add it to them. And even back to the box tea pancake, we make a dessert out of one of them. We add some cocoa powder to it, some chocolate into the box tea pancake when you make it. It's sweet then. It's a sweet as opposed to a savoury product. So it's very versatile. As we say, the box tea's probably been around as long as the potato, but that's only in Ireland because, as you know, I think the potato's around about 10,000 years in Peru. We have it at 400 years, so it's a relatively new Irish product or Irish food, but one that did take over the country. And in fact, we were in Ireland, we assimilated and adapted it into our diet about 150 years before most of our European neighbours.
Yeah. Well, as I said, it's certainly a box tea. I totally agree with you there as being a go-to. Our favourite box tea, poached eggs and a little bit of bacon
and a nice hollandaise sauce on top of that.
Absolutely.
There you go. I'm telling you. Yeah, that's your setup for the day.
Yes. A nice box tea Benedict.
Exactly. Yeah. We actually do that. We do that in the restaurant with the box tea loaf, which is the bread. Because just to let you know, there are 3 types of box tea. There's the boiled, baked, and pan box tea. And again, they're made with equal amounts of the thing that makes box tea different to other potato breads is that you grate the raw potato and you extract the moisture out of it, and you add that pulp back into. Some places use mash, some places don't. Our box tea pancake is about 90 to 92% just grated raw potato. With some, we use gluten-free flour in our mix now because there's a huge incidence of celiac disease in Ireland and especially in the West. But you've got to cater for different trends, as you're probably well aware of, Georgie. And a lot of it is, and just back to what you were saying, and both yourself, Jackie, you're very inspirational, very emotional. I was actually taken back. I was sitting on the edge of my seat just listening to you, and you are a credit to your daughter. You are just fantastic, beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Jackie, back to the thing. I just want to throw this out there because we are all talking together, I guess. I find today there's just too many levels of communication. I'm kind of used to emails, you're used to your phone calls, and then suddenly I've got something on LinkedIn a message on LinkedIn, I've got a message on Messenger, I've got something different on WhatsApp coming into me, and then I've even got a text message. And then you go back and say, how did they message me? How did they contact me? Where is that? And you go back trying to find it, and you can't find it. So you're lost, completely lost. So there's sometimes just too much communication out there, much too much. But very, very valid points there. And being the face of the business, it's important. Like you won't employ a digital, online digital master or online digital expert to go and cook in the kitchen. So, don't be putting chefs out there to do digital online stuff either. Although some of them are very good.
Unless we set up a camera in your kitchen and get you going at it, and then you'll keep us all entertained.
There'll be too many beeps.
And what about yourself, Jackie? What would be your go-to Lite Bite lunch?
Oh God, how do I answer that after listening to a chef? I'm just a basic. Like sometimes I'd have soup, but my ideal go-to bite lunch would be probably a bowl of cornflakes. But in saying that, I did buy an omelette maker, and it's actually probably my new favorite toy at the moment. But I wouldn't listening to Porrig, I was going, oh wow, and I knew I was going to end up saying cornflakes. But
just a curiosity, what is an omelette maker? Is that a whisk?
A few practice I had. Now I'm actually a master at making omelets now, and it is literally just pouring everything into an omelette maker, but they're nice. But yeah, I wouldn't be as fancy now as some days I don't even grab a lunch. Yeah.
We were taught in college, Jackie, about omelets being a fantastic generator of GP, which the accountant behind it there will tell you. It's very important. They're very easy to make. You can do them in 60 seconds in a hot pan, and you can get £9 for them.
But yeah, that's me. Whatever I can, with doing my talks, not whatever I can grab at that moment. That's what I do. But as I said, a bowl of cornflakes is just as nice.
Yeah. And what about yourself, Georgie?
Anything I have sort of for lunch, it's got to be quick and easy. And my favourite, anything with Marmite, anything with peanut butter, anything with banana. But at the moment, my favourite thing is a jam and banana toasty. That's my favourite.
Okay.
Not for everybody, but it's really good. I recommend it.
Might be
particular jam?
Sounds nice.
It's got to be strawberry jam.
Okay.
So,
Good.
strawberry jam and banana. Okay.
Toasted. Yeah.
Toasted.
I
And
only discovered it about a month ago. My father-in-law offered to make me one. I went, oh no thanks, thinking that was absolutely disgusting. But I succumbed. I had one. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Right, that's definitely one we'll add to the list to try. And what about yourself, Cheryl? You've been very quiet the last while. What would be your go-to be?
Probably something with pasta or noodles. Yeah, that's about it. I'm very boring.
Again, it's all about what works for you and what you enjoy.
Yes.
People think I'm weird because the only way I eat pasta is with sugar and milk. Other than that, I don't touch it. Don't laugh until you try it. It's like your strawberry and banana toasty.
You know what? I have to try that now. Sugar and milk.
It's lovely. Yeah, just boil them, drain them, put sugar on it, and put milk, and it just fills it up for the day as well.
I don't think that's in Swimming World, so I'll have to try that before I start Swimming World again.
That's not going down well with
well now actually, Jackie,
No,
hold on.
I'm always trying to steal things.
There we go. Geraldine has actually said we used to eat that as kids, Jackie, so you're not alone.
Great. That makes me feel better.
Right? Absolutely. So, as we're on the subject of food, as we're on the subject of food, Park, we have to come over to you and we have to talk about different menu ideas or different dishes to do for the various holidays coming up.
Well, I guess St. Bridget's Day is the next big holiday that we're finally celebrating the saint that competed with St. Patrick. She's probably been around for a hell of a lot longer. It's an old Celtic tradition as well. So Imbolg, the season, and she celebrates fertility. There is talk that next year, I don't think it's going to happen this year, but in 23 that it's going to be St. Bridget's Day will be the next bank holiday, which would be very nice to see. Not only because at the moment we have St. Patrick's Day as a celebration at the start of the season. I'd be very happy to see it start in February. In fact, I'd be very delighted to see business starting again in our industry, which has been hammered so badly. But you've got Valentine's Day coming up. You've got your chocolates, you've got your champagne, you've got Pancake Tuesday coming up as well. And you know what? Pancakes are not just for Tuesday or Shrove Tuesday. They should be every day, and you should have potatoes in them. The boxy pancakes. But there's a lot of different. As we were talking about, I think you mentioned, Rory, earlier that today is National Cuddle Day. Why don't we have a National Coddle Day? Coddle being the fantastic dish out of Dublin.
I have a feeling there is now a day assigned to that in September. I think it is.
Okay.
Although
right.
you've believe it or not, we've just had there. Mark McHale has said here to the National Coddle Day.
Yeah, it should be. I rant and rave about coddle. It's an amazing dish. Like, you go to Carcassonne in France and you'll have your cassoulet there, and every different house will battle who makes the best cassoulet. Between Toulouse and Carcassonne, the rivalry is huge, and yet we have a fantastic dish in coddle, which they say originated from the Rings End, from the docks, from the sailors, the Liverpudlians, and then but the pig. I was reading in a paper recently that there were 465 different piggeries in the city centre of Dublin up until the 1960s, 1970s. That was people rearing pigs in their back gardens. Pig is an integral part of Irish cuisine. Bacon and cabbage is our national dish. Corned beef and cabbage became the Irish national dish in North America, because actually Ireland controlled the exportation of corned beef from the 1680s right until the end of the Napoleonic Wars in the 1820s. The colonies were built on Irish corned beef. North America was built on Irish corned beef. There wasn't a cow that was, well, not a cow, but there wasn't any cattle that were safe in Munster for those 140 years. So such was the manufacturing, the whole industry of corned beef in Ireland for that 140 years. But we have amazing good food. I'm actually doing a paper at the moment on Florence Irwin, who was an itinerant instructress, cookery instructress from 1905 to 1913 in County Down. Her book is absolutely amazing because she reflects back on the farmhouses she visited and how they were cooking on open hearths, and her job was to instruct people as to move forward and how to cook on stoves, because people didn't know how to cook on stoves. But if you ever get your hands on the book, you can probably get it online. It's Florence Irwin's Irish Country Recipes. She also did an article for a weekly article for the Northern Whig, which was a Belfast newspaper. But an amazing woman, incredible. And just if you look back at the foodstuffs that we were eating in peasant Ireland, on an open hearth, on a crock, in a bastable, and we say we have no cuisine, we have an incredible array. We have great food. Absolutely. We've always had it. We just never celebrated it,
Yeah, I think that there is where the problem lies. Is we don't celebrate it, and again, a lot of it can be done with very basic ingredients, and I think that's part of it, because there's a food snobbery, that because so much of the Irish cuisine is based around cheap, readily available ingredients, they're not specialist items or that type of thing.
Yeah, but we've also forgotten how to cook a lot of the stuff. We don't cook tripe, we don't use offal, we don't, like, brawn is an incredible you know, they always said that when they'd be slaughtering a pig, they'd have a mehel, and the only thing you couldn't eat in the pig was the squeak. Every single bit of it was used. Every single part of it was used. But we have a great history of food in Ireland. I think we're psychologically, and just because of what we came through with the potato famine, it was very, very difficult to talk about it. But I think the past 20 years, 30 years, the food in all over the country is just incredible. And that's down to education, the chefs we have, the chefs that have emigrated, the chefs that have returned and opened little restaurants, and just, you know, the style of food, everything is just, we're living in a great time, if only we could open.
There we go, from Geraldine again. Oh my God, tripe with white sauce and onions, yum yum. And she's also asked there, did anyone ever drink cabbage water growing up? No takers on that.
Well, the cabbage water, unfortunately, in my house, well, the bacon went into the cabbage, but the cabbage went in far too early.
Yeah, it is. So, and again, to Jackie, actually, if I start with you on this, when you decided to start this campaign, what means did you use to get your message out there? Did you try contacting people of influence first? Did you try getting public support first? Which way did you go?
I tried with the TDs first. I had a few meetings with TDs, but at the start I wasn't getting anywhere. Some of them said, no, that's not going to happen. And some of them, it was kind of, you'd get that, like a grin, as if like, you know, what
you're living in a fantasy world, they're telling you, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I got a lot of knockback from the TDs, and there's two things that you don't do. One is say no to an Irish mammy, but the other thing is not to say no to a grieving Irish mammy, because that would just piss you off altogether and give you that drive to go. And that's what it did, you know. So then the other way, I had to try and think of, well, how am I going to do it? And that's where I used the social media, and as it started to get bigger on social media, then the like prime time and Ireland AM and stuff, going on the TV, the radio stations were absolutely fantastic, and the newspapers and all, they were brilliant, and they just kept the story going and going and going. So it was mostly the Irish people that you know, through social media and any type of media that let Nicole's story be heard, if you like. And then when it started to get bigger and bigger, then some of the TDs did take it serious. But as I said, it was Brendan Howland mostly that took it on, and then it got bigger from there.
Yeah. And Georgie, what would you say is key to getting your message out there?
I think with businesses and stories like Jackie's, it's being consistent. In terms of a business, if you have particular, you know, a logo, a message, a slogan, making sure that's consistent across all your platforms. And also, again, it's about making sure you're getting to the right audience. Don't target people that aren't going to be interested in, you know, supporting you, your business, what you stand for. You know, it's about consistency. And what I always say to people who say, oh, I just don't have the time to post every day, it's like, well, plan in advance. You know, get a piece of paper, write down everything that you want to include in maybe a month's worth of content, and schedule it. You know, for free, you could use Facebook Business Suite, and on there is a free calendar. You can post all your content in advance, you know, and you can just let it post itself. So consistency is key with social media and growing. But I think anyone that can do it organically, so without paid advertising, you know, that it's impressive, because it's so competitive now to get a message out there and to the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Pádraig, assuming that we're going to get back to some level of, I'm afraid to use the word normality because I don't think we'll ever go back to what was the previous normal. And I'm not calling it the new normal. It's a phrase I don't like. But when we get back, return to some sort of organised system, let's call it that. What plans have we got for the Boxty House this year?
There's a lot of plans in the pipeline. We've been working on a lot of different things over the past 18 months. We obviously, during the first lockdown, we opened up 2 to 3 different takeout from our dark kitchens in Tala. They were successful, but when we reopened the restaurant again, we had to move chefs back into the city centre because there's a huge crisis in our industry at the minute in hospitality, and it's trying to find people that are skilled people to work. I'm lucky. We kept about 11 people on during the COVID. We're back. We had about 52 staff. We're back to about 31 at the minute. Some of these people have been working with me for over 20 years. That's a long time. I'm celebrating. The restaurant will be open on February 20th, 33 years. I'm looking forward to seeing my 50th birthday. Not my personal 50th birthday, the Boxty 50th birthday. I celebrated the 50th birthday there a while ago. But yeah, no, listen, I think tourism will come back with a bang. We've got to learn to live with COVID. You know, there's an awful lot of BS out there. There's an awful lot of scaremongering. It's got to stop. It really has to stop. What's even more frightening is the fact that the tax take has increased. The VAT has increased by 24%. I think the revenue it's up by 11 billion, and yet we were closed for the year. So they can really do what they want to us, can't they?
Well, it just goes.
It's frightening.
I mean, the whole thing is, had COVID not arrived, where would that tax figure have actually finished up?
I know, incredible, and it wouldn't have been back to the 9%. We'd still be at the 13.5% on food. It is. I think Ireland is in a really, really good place. I think we just got to stop letting non-elected officials dictate how the country is run, and the government's got to stand up and start running it. It's got to start putting its mouth, doing what they're supposed to do, and stop blaming other bloody people. They blamed the bankers and they blamed the developers back in 08, 09. Now we're blaming scientists. Wait till you see that's going to come back and slap them in the face. We've got to get up, get on, live with this. It's there. It's not going away. It's not going away, and we have to learn to live with it. And get vaccinated, get whatever. I've had such a bad couple of years. It's been ups and downs, and you trying to keep positive. I'm trying to keep my guys I work with positive. We're trying to just push everything forward. And you know what? 22 is going to be a great year, no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I see Mark McHale is just saying there, congratulations, I work in tourism and always send people to your restaurant. Actually,
Thank you, Mark.
I have a feeling that's Mark from Hidden Hoth Tours.
Uh-huh.
Right, so, yeah. So there's a lot going on there. And for you, Georgie, what are your plans for the coming year? Anything big planned?
God, I'm looking forward to going on a holiday. I've not been away in years. I've now got a baby boy, so looking forward to having some family time away, and also growing my business. So lots of hard work, hopefully a nice summer to look forward to.
Yeah, that's great. And I know, Jackie, you're on you're basically all over the country and giving talks on Coco's lawn, that type of thing. And have you any downtime for yourself at all planned, or?
No, not really. I don't. To be honest, sometimes I just go day by day, and it depends how much I'm struggling. I don't really plan a lot into the future of what I'm going to do. I know. Again, it's related to Nicole. There's a documentary coming out on the whole of Nicole's story, and yeah, I do want to write a book as well, but I'm not even nearly ready for that. So, no, I'm just kind of just going with the flow as it is. I'm not really looking too far ahead because I don't know what way I'm going to be. It's, as I said, day by day sometimes, and
Yeah,
You know, some days can be a struggle, a real struggle, you know. So yeah, just go with it.
great.
Jackie, I'll just give you a little bit of advice on writing your book. I don't know if you type or you use a laptop or a computer or a pen and paper. The secret
Yeah,
is just to start writing. Just start writing.
yeah,
Just write
yeah,
even a
and
page a day and just put it down, and then you can edit it afterwards and go through it. And just as your thoughts come
yeah,
into you, just write.
yeah.
Says
I
he who
did.
hasn't published his cookery book yet.
Yeah, I did start it. I have, I think I have like 25 pages done, but I do,
Brilliant.
exactly what
Yeah,
you said.
that's what you do. That's
You know,
exactly it.
because it does store up a lot of memories as well, because it's starting
Yeah,
from when Nicole was born. So, but yeah, and then I just put it away, and then I might, you know,
yeah,
I'm doing a lot of scribbly notes, and you
yeah.
know,
They all add up.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
But it's a
I'm not
story that
too
should be
fussed on
told.
that yet.
It's a
absolutely.
story
I
that should be
totally
told.
agree.
And Jackie, if I can help in any way to help get your message across in your story, I'd be very, very happy to work with you.
Yeah, and you know what? Like people say to me, "Oh, you must be so proud of yourself." I'm proud that Nicole, that I have Nicole's legacy. I'm proud that it's in the Irish statute books forever and ever and ever, and that's go nowhere. And I'm proud that I kept my promise to her, and always said that I'll make sure she's never forgotten. So when I do the school talks or in colleges or whatever, the thing that makes me proud the most is that every one of those students leaving there after my talk knows who Nicole is and what happened to her, and that they're in their hearts and their hearts, heads and hearts as well. So that's what I'm proud of. But yeah, I'll just keep her name, whether it's on social media or papers. Well, I'll just keep her name going and let everyone know that, the beautiful, wonderful daughter that she was, and let people know, obviously, the devastation of suicide, the effects of suicide, of the people that's left behind, and yeah, obviously, let everyone know the consequences as well now of people's actions. So yeah, great, Georgia. If you can do anything for me there as well, just to keep Nicole is her name, but obviously we called her Coco, and that was our pet name, because when my 9-month-old nephew was born, he was only learning how to talk, and he couldn't talk. He could say a few words, but he couldn't say Nicole, and he could only say Coco, and that's where we got the
Beautiful.
name Coco from her, from when she was born all the way up. So
I'll pass across
Absolutely.
my details to you.
Yeah,
yeah,
no problem.
brilliant, Georgia.
Well,
That'd be
and just
fantastic.
on that, we are, unfortunately the clock is almost running out on us. But I just wanted to run around each of you quickly. Jackie, if anyone is looking to get in touch with you to either to offer some sort of support or that was looking for advice or whatnot, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Well, I am on social media. I have the Facebook page or Instagram, but I also have a page on Facebook as well called Let's Bring in Coco's Law, and that's where the campaign started. But they can message me on that as well. Um, I also have a website as well for when the schools get in touch with me, so they can look up the website, and the website is on the Let's Bring in Coco's Law page. And then also, if I can say, people that are out there that are struggling with the loss of someone through suicide, they can also go on to the hug.ie, HUGG, .ie, and fill out the form, and then we can put those people into we haven't got a place all over Ireland yet, but we're putting a whole group in every county in Ireland, so they can get in contact with hug.ie as well, and we'll find somewhere, whether it's on Zoom at the moment or whether it's in the whole like in
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and again,
person.
just to say to you that anything at all the Lite Bite Lunch can do to help in promoting that, please do keep in touch with me, and anything
Yeah,
we can do, we'd be delighted to. What about
thank
yourself,
you.
Georgie? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, unsurprisingly, I am on all sort of social media channels, but probably best is to give me an email, and I'm at georgie@greendigital.agency, and then we can go from there.
Brilliant, thanks. And Pádraig, other than going in and eating your food, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, going in and eating the food is probably the best way and the most appreciative. But no, we're on all digital. We have our website. We're on Instagram, Twitter. My personal email is pog@boxtyhouse.ie. That's boxtyhouse.ie. And likewise, Jackie, if I can be of any help at all, if you're doing some fundraisings, we're always good for a few vouchers and stuff like that. So, we also have a place in Tala, so we're nearly neighbours.
Yeah.
Well, before you left,
Yeah.
Right. Well, listen, unfortunately,
I'm still a
folks.
talent at heart.
Yeah, listen, unfortunately, the clock has caught up on us, and it's time for us to call a halt today. I really do want to thank my co-host Cheryl, my guests Pádraig O'Gallagher, Jackie Fox, and Georgie Thomas. It's been a great having you all with us. And until we see you in 2 weeks' time, and we look forward to it then. Good afternoon.
Thank you.